Shoulder just a little acting up coming out of the last ball game. Obviously limited Adoree a bunch with the hip flexor. Ajane started to make his way back here a little bit. So on that front, from an injury standpoint, we really don't know exactly where we'll be by the end of the week, but was encouraging out of where the game ended and then where we are today. So hopefully we can continue to improve that front. All in all, I thought the guys were really focused. What I was impressed with as much as anything is the guys that didn't play Saturday really came out and were competitive and pushed the guys that had played a lot, and that's what's needed. We're obviously still a little fatigued, a little sore. It was a long trip, a physical game, a lot of plays. So we have to do a really good job of managing the guys, getting them back by the end of the week.
Is John Plattenburg making a push to start?
Yes.
Is he going to start at this point, or is that still open?
Well, we're still evaluating him, but he played well enough to warrant consideration for that.
It's a late rally from Arizona, and you come out on top. Is that something you can build a lot on from a learning perspective?
Well, I think we have to learn from the last few weeks in general, just about I talked about this last night, the last 7-8 minutes of the game. I think philosophically how we attack the game offensively and defensively, I think we really need to remain a little bit more aggressive, quite honestly. The old traditional way of milking the clock, just trying to eat up possessions and whatnot, I don't know if that's exactly where we need to be. I think we need to remain aggressive, and it's something that we're obviously evaluating. We evaluated Sunday, yesterday, and we'll continue to throughout the week, so that if we get put in that scenario again here this weekend or in weekends to come, we have a plan that we believe in.
Usually, you come home and feel good about being at home, but in Pac-12 conference games this year, the home team is 4-14. What do you make of that? And is that something you can kind of use as a reminder to your team that you can't?
No, I mean, we'll use it. I didn't know that stat. I appreciate it. I've said this all along, and I'll continue to say it. In our conference, if you don't come ready to play, whether you're at home or away, you will get beat. It's too good. It's too deep. There's too many good coaches, players that you have to prepare, and you have to be mentally and physically right, ready to go, in a great frame of mind. And that's what we need to strive to be every Saturday when we take the field. But it's a great reminder. I mean, I didn't know that stat, so I'll take it. Appreciate it.
How would you describe the type of up and down season it's been so far?
I don't feel like it's really been that way. I feel bad that we lost the Arizona State game at the end the way we did, but quite honestly, we played a really good game, and it's unfortunate the Boston College game went the way it did, but beyond that, we played a poor 5 minutes against Arizona State, and I feel bad because that has kind of overshadowed how we played the rest of the game. So I really feel like we're making progress. I feel like we're getting better, which is exactly where you like to be halfway through the year. I think our young O-line is really improving. I think our runner's getting better. We obviously need to improve our ability to throw the ball down the field. I'd like to continue to develop our young DBs, which got a lot of reps last week, and continue to find ways to pressure the quarterback, which I thought we were improving upon. So I think we're getting better. I don't really feel like we're taking steps backwards necessarily. I think we're getting better every week that we take the field.
Speaking of the young defensive backs, is Rasheed Johnson a guy who might be activated here?
Potentially, yeah. We're obviously getting put in some precarious situations here with just sheer numbers. Rasheed has since we moved him over, I talked a lot about him in the bye week, about his development, how much he improved. I like his competitive spirit. I think if we do play him on defense, he'll definitely help us on special teams as well. He's obviously a talented guy who could play offense and or defense. So special teams could be a good avenue for him there as well. So it remains to be seen, but yes, he's a prospective guy.
How tough is it towards the end of the game like that when Buck really has it going? But you get Justin in there to get some carries as well. Because Buck's fatigue or what have you. How tough of a call is that?
It wasn't difficult. I've got all the faith in the world in Justin. And I felt like we needed to get him back in there, after the fumble on the screen, for his own psyche, for our development as a team moving forward. We're going to need him the second half of the season. And so the opportunity to put him back in there, I thought he had a great series in there. He had a couple of really hard, tough runs. it was good for Buck to get a little bit of a rest. I thought Buck was a little bit fatigued on the one touchdown late in the game, and he needed some time off. So all in all, it was a great opportunity to do what we did, and I thought it worked out great.
You heard back from the conference about any of those?
Not yet.
Questions?
Not yet.
When
Hopefully,
does that usually happen?
Probably this afternoon. So I'll let you guys know whenever we get something back. I have to be careful. I did learn this a year ago. I can't necessarily comment on what they tell me. So I'll check with the conference because I know you guys are going to want to ask, and I want to give you a fair answer.
From a versatility standpoint, is this what you thought you would get from Buck? Is it surprising?
I love it. I mean, I didn't know he was such a good receiver as what we've gotten so far. I was a little surprised probably early in the year that that we weren't getting the big plays out of him that I had saw on film from the second half of last season. But now, the last couple of weeks, what we've gotten out of him, I think, is kind of what I was anticipating. I thought he'd be a guy that would rush for over 1,500 yards and be in consideration for some really cool accolades at the end of the year, and I think that's what we're starting to get.
A year and a half ago, he was a kid who was pretty deep on the depth chart. When you look at the past film and how he turned it around, what was that?
I was just kind of surprised why wasn't he playing before. I mean, when he put him in, he did really good. And they obviously previously there was a pretty deep backfield. There was a lot of guys, and Trey was healthy, Ty Isaac was here. I mean, there was a lot of Silas Red was here, so it was a pretty steep ladder to climb. We're obviously in a different scenario, a different situation. We just don't have as many guys that way. So I don't know. He's been great. I mean, he's been fantastic off the field. He's been a great leader, supportive of our message. Thankful we have him.
Coach Nansen compared him to Bishop Sankey. What do you think about that comparison?
Very, very similar in that they're versatile guys. Both of them catch the ball well. Both obviously good runners. Both pass protectors. I think their style's a little different. I think Bishop was a little more of a lateral, in tight space cutter, where Buck is a stronger straight line guy, but they're both really good players.
Sarkis, when we talk to him off the field, I see a very humble,
no doubt,
very he follows authority. Can you expand a little bit off the field what you see from him?
I see a very appreciative young man, a guy who has overcome a lot to get to this point in his life. I think he's thankful for the opportunity. He's worked extremely hard in the classroom, on the football field. He's going to earn his degree. He's playing great football, and I think he's just thankful for the opportunity. He's a really humble guy.
You've challenged the running backs and the defensive line the last 2 weeks, and they've really responded. Is there something you're focusing on this week?
Yeah, we need to continue to fight for explosive plays. We have to keep pushing the envelope. You probably saw it today. We're throwing the ball down the field. That'll make us a better team. That'll make us more difficult to defend. And then I got to keep pushing this young secondary and their confidence, because they're talented guys, but we have to play with confidence. You can't just align right and say, okay, everything's great. You have to go make the play, and so we'll keep pushing those guys.
Where does George Farmer fit into that, explosive plays and stretching the field?
He's in the mix. We called a couple shots for him the other night. The coverage didn't give us exactly what we were looking for him to make the play down the field, but George is in the mix. We played with 5 scholarship receivers the other night, so you get plenty of chances.
Do one more. There were 4 snaps maybe that were kind of high from Max. It was something we hadn't seen since maybe training camp. You know what was going on there?
Yeah, we used a different cadence because of the crowd noise the other night. And if you noticed, Cody was clapping his hands. That was really our indicator to snap the ball. And just I think a bit of a growing pain for Max in the transition to going, I don't want to call it a silent count, but a different cadence. And sometimes, that can manipulate the way the ball comes up and you snap it. But we'll work on it. We've come a long way since spring ball when the balls were flying everywhere. So we've come a long way, but we'll continue to work on it.